In this video, we are going to look at a game played between Daria Charochkina versus Baira Kovanova. This game was played in Italian game Two Nights Defense in Russian Championship 2013. And I chose actually this game because I wanted you people to just let you have some idea of this Italian game Two Nights Defense. Game starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop c4. This is the start of the Italian game. Now knight f6 and knight g5. Now white is sitting the pawn over here. And to stop it, there is only one best move, and that is d5. Into d5, knight a5, hitting the bishop. I'm going to flip the board and let you people show you that how well black played the Italian game. Because it was black who sacrificed the pawn for the activity. Bishop b5 check. Now c5, c6, sorry, gambiting the pawn. D into c6, b into c6. Bishop has to move. Bishop d3. There are other moves actually also, and I prefer in this variation is bishop e2. This is what I prefer actually, because after h6 hitting the knight, knight f3, e4 challenging the knight. Now knight d4, and now, oh sorry, knight e5 over here. Knight to e5. Sorry, that was a mistake. And after bishop c5, castle, castle, and king h1. Now, this game is equal. And I would say that I would prefer white in this position, not black. This is the way I play. But in the game, he went out for the move bishop d3. This is an also okay move. Knight d5, developing the knight, hitting the knight on g5. So, knight f3. Now, white is threatening to pick up the pawn. So, bishop d6, developing the bishop. The whole concept is that when you gambit the pawn, all the gambit openings, remember that you are going to develop your pieces immediately with threats. Now black is threatening to play the move knight to f4. And here white played the move knight c3. And that was a little bit mistake, and that was a rare move actually. And for the sacrificed pawn, black has got a better center. You may see over here. If we analyze this position, he had the quicker development. You may see the bishop is coming into play. This queen would be coming like this, castle. And it will be not easy for white to develop his pieces. Instead, if he had gone for the move castle, that was be much better, because after castle, now rook e1 first threatening the pawn, rook e8 protecting the pawn, now knight c3. And now you may see that white has castled in this version. White is saying to play the move bishop f1, and then he is going to play the move this e3, and his bishop would be out of the pawn chain. This is what white's plan would be. But in the game, he immediately played the move knight c3, and that was a little bit mistake, because after castle, white castles, and now f5. Now black is threatening to play the move e5. How to counter it? What is the best way to counter it? And the best way to counter was play the move bishop, whether to e2 or knight to e1. But in the game, he made the mistake and he played the move knight into d4. d5, sorry. Because after c into d5, now you must see that how strong black center is. Just at the cost of one pawn. And now black is threatening to play the move this e5, e4 move, sorry. Here white played the move bishop e2. And in fact, I really don't like that how Daria handled his position. Now, you are black, for example. Now you have a winning advantage. How to continue? I want you people to pause the video and think that you have the winning advantage in this position. But you must have a plan in your mind, at least 3 to 4 moves ahead, that how to continue in this position. If you will not think while watching a video, you will not learn. So think, pause the video and think. I hope you have got it. The first move is e4, and after knight d4, now how to continue? f4. Now you are threatening to bring your queen to f6, your bishop developing like over here or over here. In the next moves, this knight is coming joining the party. This rook can jump like this. And there are many ways that black can attack. White made the mistake and that was f3. How to punish this mistake? I want you people to pause and how to punish this mistake. And the move is queen b6. Now this knight is pinned to this queen, king. So black tried to save it by playing the move d3. But now I want you again people pause the video and think that how to put more pressure over here on this knight on d4. D4. And the way is knight c6. This knight was doing nothing. Now it is attacking. Queen a4 was played by white. And now you may see that it is not an easy position for white to play with. Is there a way that you can put more pressure on this knight? This queen is threatening this knight. Are you going to take this knight? Are you going to put more pressure over here? And the best move in this position is bishop c5. Still pinned to this king. So now queen can't take this knight because you can take it and this knight is pinned to the king. Here white played the move desperately f into e4 which loses immediately because now knight into d4, c into d4, bishop into d4, check. King has to move. And here black had a lot of advantage. The move he played in the game was a mistake. I want you people to pause the video and think that what is the best move for black in this position. The move in the game which was played was f3. And that is a mistake because it gives chance for white to survive. But I don't want you people to let your opponent survive. So what is the best move? And the best move in this position was d into e4. Because now after queen b3 check, trying to exchange the queens, bishop e6, challenging the queen, queen into b6, into b6. And if you pause the video and just think that is there a way that white has a move in this position? This bishop is struck, this rook is struck. You can't move this rook over here. Pawn would be falling. You can't move this pawn. You can't move this rook. You can't move this bishop. And this was the best way to play. But in the game, he let his opponent give some chance to counter. After f3, now rook into f3, bishop g4, hitting the rook. How to continue? d3. Still, this still looks tough for fight, but actually now his white's king is safe because this bishop is now going to come alive. Bishop into rook, bishop into f3. Now rook a e8, joining the party. White played the move queen d1, still protecting. D into e4, d into e4, king h8, getting out of any checks. e4 by white. And I want you people to now pause the video and once again think, as this is now in the positional maneuver, that how you should continue in this game. What is the best way to continue in this game? I'm going to give you the options. One is you can play the move rook d8. Second one is you play the move bishop to e5. Which move you would choose? The move Daria played in the game was a lovely one. Queen to f6 instead of bishop e5 was the best move. The reason behind is that now this queen is free of protecting this bishop. It can move freely to this 7th rank. On the next move, black is bringing his rook to d8, challenging this queen. That's why bishop e5 move was better. But in the game he went out for the move queen f6. Now bishop g5 hitting the bishop. At last white has been able to develop the bishops. Now queen e5. You don't want to give your dark square bishop. And you are still threatening the pawn on b2. Bishop h4. Now bishop into b2, rook b1, rook c8. Backmate could be happen at any time. Bishop f2, hitting the pawn. Now rook f8, hitting the queen. And if there is a way that white is able to exchange the dark square bishops, then it would be easy for white actually to continue and draw the game. So that's why queen e2, bishop d4. Sorry, I said it wrong. Black could exchange the bishops. He can easily win. Bishop h4, hitting the rook. White is saying I'm not going to exchange the bishops. Rook e8, putting more pressure over here on this pawn and now threatening to play the move rook b8, challenging this rook over here. Rook d1, bishop b6. Now black is threatening to play the move bishop to c7 and creating mate threats over here. What is the best way to counter it? And that is bishop g3. Now queen g5, queen b2. And now white is saying that I'm going to play the move bishop to d6. And still you see black is winning, but it is not an easy on the board to see. Rook c4, going for after the pawn. And here actually white made the mistake queen a3. Now I want you people to pause the video and punish the blunder of white. The move which he played in the game, queen a3. How you can punish this blunder? Have you forgotten that this king is at a back rank mate? So how to punish it? You have to take control of this square. So rook ec8, doubling the rooks. Rook f1, now rook c1. Bishop d1, trying desperately. And now white is threatening back rank mate. So queen f6, a beautiful move. If rook takes, this rook into bishop is just going to be made. So queen d3 protecting the rook, but now rook d8 hitting the queen. Rook into f6, rook into d1 check, queen f1, g into f6, and this queen can't move. Bishop e1, and now how you can play and finish the game. Now white is threatening to play the move queen into f6 check, and you want this pawn to be there. So bishop d4, and this move bishop c3 is unstoppable because you are pinning the bishop and you are going to win the bishop. I'm going to show you on the board. There is no way if white plays the move like this, bishop comes over here, king comes like this, after rook into bishop, this is completely over for white. So in this position, after bishop d4, Baria Kovanova designed the game. So from this game, you have learned that how to play this Italian game 2 knights variation in the opening, and how to keep initiative alive in the game. So if you like my video, kindly subscribe and hit the bell icon button, and thank you very much.